The Silent Observer. The Kaldar Imperial scout ship Relentless Inquiry sliced through the void at the edge of human space, its crystalline hull shimmering with energy signatures that most species could neither detect nor comprehend. Commander Vexer stood on the command deck, his four arms clasped behind his back as he studied the holographic display. The ship's quantum scanners, technology the Kaldar had perfected over millennia, swept the sector with precision unmatched by any known civilization. "Commander, we're detecting an anomaly approximately 3 light minutes from our position," reported Science Officer Nexari, her ridge crest flushing deep purple with excitement. "The readings are inconsistent." Vexer's secondary eyes narrowed. In his 3 centuries of service to the Empire, inconsistent readings were rarely good news. The Kaldar prided themselves on technological supremacy. Their sensor arrays could detect a maintenance drone at 10 light-years distance. "Specify inconsistent." Officer Nexari. Her fingers danced over the crystalline interface. "The signature appears and disappears. Our algorithms cannot classify the phenomenon. It violates known physical parameters." On the view screen, space appeared empty. Yet the sensor readings showed something. A distortion, a shadow where nothing should exist. Could it be a sensor malfunction? First Lieutenant Thrazak suggested, mandibles clicking with skepticism. Nexari's crest flattened in offense. "I've run 3 diagnostic cycles. Our systems are operating at optimal efficiency." Vexer straightened his immaculately pressed uniform. The Kaldar Empire had expanded across 12 star systems by understanding before conquering. That philosophy had served them well in their rise to dominance. "Approach with caution. Defensive systems at ready status. But no aggressive posturing," he ordered. "And activate the multiphasic scanner array." The Relentless Inquiry moved forward with deliberate precision. The multiphasic scanner array, a marvel of Kaldar engineering capable of penetrating any known cloaking technology, hummed to life, sending invisible tendrils of detection energy into the seemingly empty space. The holographic display flickered, and for a brief moment, something took shape, a silhouette of a vessel unlike any in the Kaldar database. Then it vanished again. "Impossible," whispered Thrazak. "No technology can evade a multiphasic scan." But the evidence floated before them, or rather, didn't. The phantom ship appeared and disappeared from their sensors, as though it existed in multiple states simultaneously. "Send a standard first contact greeting on all frequencies," Vexer commanded. "Let's see if our mysterious neighbor is conversational." Minutes passed with no response. The anomaly remained, occasionally flickering into sensor existence before disappearing again. Vexer felt his patience waning. "Deploy sensor probes. Wide dispersal pattern." 5 probes launched silently from the Relentless Inquiry's forward bay, spreading across the sector like glittering diamonds, each one a masterpiece of Kaldar engineering. They approached the coordinates where the phantom readings originated. The command deck fell silent as the probe feed appeared on secondary displays. The void of space seemed undisturbed until probe 3 vanished. Not destroyed, not damaged, simply gone. "What in the 7 moons?" Thrazak began. Before he could finish, probes 1 and 4 disappeared as well. The remaining probes' readings went haywire, their sensors detecting radiation patterns and gravitational fluctuations that defied established physics. Then, with a suddenness that made several officers flinch, a ship materialized before them. Not gradually, not with the shimmer of a failing cloaking device, but instantly, as though it had always been there, merely choosing now to be seen. It was unmistakably of human design, but unlike any human vessel the Kaldar had encountered or studied. Where human ships were typically utilitarian and functional, this one possessed an elegance that even Vexer's aesthetically oriented mind found appealing. Its hull was midnight black and seemed to drink in the ambient light of distant stars. No visible weapons adorned its exterior, yet something about its presence radiated unmistakable power. "Analysis," Vexer demanded, his voice betraying none of the unease coiling through his mind. Nexari's fingers trembled slightly as she worked her console. Human construction, but advanced. Power signatures are unlike anything in our database. No detectable weapon systems, yet our sensors cannot penetrate beyond the outer hull. It's as if... She hesitated. Continue, officer. It's as if the ship exists partially outside conventional spacetime. Vexor's third heart skipped a beat. The Kaldar had theorized such technology, but had never managed to create a practical application. If humans had somehow mastered partial dimension shifting. Incoming transmission, announced the communications officer. Text only. The message appeared on the main display in precise Kaldar script. Greetings, KLDAR vessel. This is UES Silent OBSURVER. Your CNSOSOR PROB is ADVBEEN 10 PURARILOEDSPLACED. They will be returned undamaged. We nimien and no harm, but reef COM and AGAINSTFURTEER skianans without TER MASSN. Vexor felt a cold sliver of something unfamiliar slide down his spine. Fear. Impossible. Yet the casual mention of temporarily displaced probes suggested capabilities far beyond what humans should possess. Reply with our standard diplomatic greeting. Identify ourselves as a scientific vessel engaged in routine surveys. The lie came easily. The relentless inquiry was, in fact, assessing human technological development for the Imperial Strategic Command. Humans were still considered a minor power, innovative but primitive. This encounter was quickly challenging that assessment. The response came almost immediately. Your vessel's PRIMARYFUNCCHION is tactical assessment and intelligence gathering. We understand. No offense taken. Would you like to establish direct communication? A murmur ran through the command deck. How could they know the ship's true purpose? They're bluffing, Thrazek insisted, trying to unsettle us. Vexor wasn't so certain. Prepare defensive systems, but keep weapon ports sealed. Accept their offer of direct communication. The view screen shifted, and a human face appeared. Female, middle-aged by their standards, with dark skin and silver-streaked hair cut short against her scalp. She wore a simple dark uniform with minimal insignia. Commander Vexor of the Kaldar Imperial vessel, Relentless Inquiry, she said in flawless Kaldar, without the assistance of any visible translation device. I am Captain Sophia Chen of the United Earth ship Silent Observer. Thank you for accepting our invitation to communicate. Vexor inclined his head slightly. Your knowledge of our language is impressive, Captain Chen. Her smile was small but genuine. We believe communication is the foundation of understanding. Your language is beautiful. The crystalline phonetic structure mirrors your architectural preferences. That observation was disturbingly insightful. Few non-Kaldar recognize the connection between Kaldar language and their architectural aesthetics. Your vessel possesses technology that our scanners cannot properly interpret, Vexor said, deciding directness was the most dignified approach. This is unusual. Yes, Chen acknowledged. The Silent Observer incorporates principles that aren't widely shared. We're a research vessel, exploring the boundaries between conventional physics and other possibilities. Other possibilities, Vexor repeated. You speak in deliberate vagaries, Captain. Chen's expression remained pleasant. Perhaps a demonstration would be more efficient than an explanation. With your permission, we'll recover your sensor probes. Before Vexor could respond, the missing probes materialized in perfect formation alongside the Relentless Inquiry. According to the ship's sensors, they had simply reappeared. No transit signature, no arrival vector. How? Began Thrazek. The probes were never gone, Chen explained. They existed in a slightly adjacent probability state. Your sensors aren't calibrated to detect objects shifted along that particular axis. Vexor felt his professional composure straining. the casual demonstration of technology that the Kaldar had theorized about for centuries, but never achieved, was deeply unsettling. This adjacent probability state, you're suggesting your vessel can manipulate dimensional boundaries? Chen nodded. In a limited fashion, yes. It's an adaptation of principles we discovered during our early quantum computing experiments, useful for observation without interference. The implications staggered Vexer. A civilization capable of shifting matter between dimensional states could observe any world, any ship, any facility without detection. The strategic advantages were incalculable. If you'll allow a personal observation, Commander, Chen continued, your expression suggests you're reconsidering certain assumptions about human technological development. Vexer forced his facial muscles to relax. The Kaldar Empire maintains comprehensive intelligence on all spacefaring species. Your capabilities are unexpected. Yes, Chen said simply. They often are. Something in her tone suggested deeper meaning, as though humans being underestimated was a familiar pattern, perhaps even a deliberate strategy. The Kaldar Empire would be interested in technological exchange, Vexer suggested, knowing his superiors would demand he make the attempt. Our advances in quantum crystallography could complement your dimensional research. Chen's smile remained, but her eyes revealed nothing. A generous offer, Commander. However, the Silent Observer's technologies are not currently available for exchange. We believe some developments require appropriate cultural and ethical frameworks to prevent misapplication. The implied criticism that the Kaldar might lack such frameworks sent a ripple of indignation through Vexer. Yet he couldn't deny the evidence before him. These humans wielded power his people had only dreamed of, and they did so with an unsettling casualness. Perhaps instead, Chen suggested, you might join us for an observational mission. We're studying quantum fluctuations in the nearby nebula. Your perspective would be valuable. Vexer hesitated. His orders were to assess and report, not to engage. Yet the opportunity to observe this vessel in operation might provide invaluable intelligence. We accept your invitation, Captain Chen. The Kaldar Empire values scientific cooperation. Excellent, Chen replied. We'll proceed at your convenience. One small advisory. Your ship may experience some sensor disorientation as we transit. It's harmless, but can be disconcerting if unexpected. Before Vexer could inquire further, the stars on the view screen blurred. Not the familiar streaking of faster-than-light travel, but a subtle shift, as though reality itself had gone slightly out of focus. When the view clarified, they were elsewhere. The nebula that had been several hours away at maximum speed now filled the view screen with its swirling majesty. No sensation of movement. No energy signature. They had simply relocated. Nexari's voice shook as she consulted her instruments. Commander, according to our navigational system, we've traveled 26 light minutes instantaneously. The human captain's face reappeared on the screen. We've arrived at the observation coordinates. Your ship's propulsion systems remained inactive throughout transit. We generated a local probability envelope that included your vessel. Vexer stared at the nebula, then at the human ship floating serenely beside them. In that moment, he understood the true purpose of this encounter. It wasn't diplomacy or scientific exchange. It was a message. The humans wanted the Kaldar to know exactly what they were capable of, and to report it back to the Imperial Command. Humanity was announcing itself not with threats or demonstrations of weaponry, but with capabilities that redefined what was possible. You've made your point elegantly, Captain, Vexer said quietly. Chen's expression was neither triumphant nor smug. We value peaceful relations, Commander. Understanding each other's capabilities helps prevent misunderstandings that might lead to conflict. The warning couldn't have been clearer if she'd aimed weapons at their hull. The Kaldar Empire had been planning to expand into human territory within the next decade, assuming their technological superiority would ensure a swift victory. That assumption had just been shattered. Technological humility. The nebula's swirling gases painted the command deck in ethereal blues and purples, casting unusual shadows across the crystalline consoles of the relentless inquiry. Commander Vexer stood rigid, his forearms clasped so tightly behind his back that his knuckles had paled. Before him, the main view screen showed two images: the majestic cosmic dust cloud they had been instantaneously transported to, and the human vessel Silent Observer hovering nearby. "Run a complete systems diagnostic," he ordered, keeping his voice level despite the unease churning through him. "Verify our structural integrity." Nexiri's ridge crest remained flat against her skull, a sign of continued stress. "All systems report nominal function, Commander. There's no evidence we were ever moved." She hesitated. "It's as if space-time itself adjusted around us." Vexer turned to his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Thrazak, your assessment of their capabilities." The lieutenant's mandibles clicked rapidly, his species equivalent of nervous swallowing. "If they can transport a vessel of our mass instantaneously without conventional propulsion, their energy manipulation capabilities exceed our theoretical models by at least 8 generations of development." "And their defensive capabilities?" Vexer pressed. "Unknown, but..." Thrazak's compound eyes darted to the view screen. "If they can shift probability states as they claim, conventional weapons would be ineffective. You cannot hit what exists in multiple states simultaneously." The implication settled heavily over the command deck. The Kaldar Empire had expanded through a combination of diplomacy backed by overwhelming military superiority. Yet here was a human vessel that could potentially render that superiority meaningless. The communications officer's voice interrupted Vexer's thoughts. "Commander, Captain Chen is requesting permission to send over a data packet containing observational protocols for the nebula study." "Screen it thoroughly before opening," Vexer ordered. Even now, caution remained essential, though he strongly suspected that if the humans wished to compromise their systems, they had methods far beyond Kaldar security protocols. Minutes later, the science team confirmed the data packet contained only what had been claimed: sophisticated observational algorithms designed to detect quantum fluctuations within the nebula's gases. More disturbingly, the algorithms were elegantly designed to interface perfectly with Kaldar systems, suggesting an intimate knowledge of their technology. "Implement the observational protocols," Vexer decided, "but maintain isolation barriers." As the algorithms activated, the main display transformed. What had appeared as merely a beautiful cosmic formation now revealed complex patterns of energy and matter. Quantum waves rippled through the gas clouds, forming intricate interference patterns that seemed almost deliberate in their complexity. "This is..." Nexiri's voice trailed off, her scientific training temporarily overwhelmed by the beauty before her. "Commander, these algorithms are detecting quantum entanglement on a massive scale. The nebula isn't just a cloud of gas. It's a naturally occurring quantum computer of sorts." Captain Chen's face appeared on a secondary screen. "Your analysis is correct, Officer Nexari. We've been studying this phenomenon for several years. We believe many nebulae serve as natural processing nodes in a galaxy-wide quantum network." Vexer's tertiary heart skipped a beat. If Chen was right, the implications were staggering. "You're suggesting the galaxy itself possesses some form of intelligence?" "Not exactly," Chen replied. "More like a naturally occurring computational substrate. We're still deciphering its purpose, if purpose is even the right concept." The casual way she discussed a discovery that would revolutionize Kaldar cosmology only reinforced Vexer's growing realization. Humanity was not the primitive species his empire had categorized them as. They were something else entirely, perhaps not as technologically refined as the Kaldar in conventional areas, but explorers of frontiers the Kaldar had barely recognized existed. "You're gathering data on these quantum fluctuations," Vexer observed. "To what end?" Chen's expression became thoughtful. "We believe understanding these naturally occurring computational processes may help us solve problems beyond conventional computational limits. Climate stabilization, theoretical physics, even medical applications. Not weapons, not conquest, not dominance, Vexer found himself struggling with a concept alien to Kaldar imperial philosophy. Advancement without strategic application. Your ship, he began, choosing his words carefully. It utilizes these same principles. In part, Chen acknowledged. The silent observer incorporates what we've learned about probability states and quantum entanglement. It's a research platform, as much as a vessel. Lieutenant Thrazak shifted uncomfortably. If you'll forgive my directness, Captain, your technology seems oriented toward observation rather than engagement. Yet you operate in contested space. Are you not concerned about hostile encounters? It was a tactical question, probing for weaknesses, and everyone on the command deck knew it. Chen's smile remained unchanged. The silent observer has defensive capabilities appropriate to its mission, she said simply. Before Vexer could pursue this line of questioning, Nexari gas